Alright guys, real quick, I got a dying camera and I just wanted to film a quick little update video. We've had a couple videos at the racetrack, we ran the PDRA stuff. We are working on BEETLE JUICE, which is our 69 Camaro that we got as a roller, doesn't have a motor in it, already set up for a 400. So we got all that stuff figured out. It's had a number of different engines in there. It's had a small block Hemi, it's had a Noonan 4.9 Hemi, it's had a small block Chevrolet, and now we're putting an LS in there. And one thing that I don't think a lot of people understand is how nothing ever fits, or if you change one thing, nothing else fits. So I spent a little bit of time, maybe like 3 or 4 hours yesterday, trying to get a mounting solution for an external oil pump, get an oil pan on there, and a fuel pump option. So we set the motor in on Saturday morning before we ran the race at Galot with Slick Rick, so trying to be as productive as possible. And real quick, I just want to give some insight, because I think people think that like you go and you get a car and you put a motor in it and you build a turbo kit and then you hook some hoses up to it and then it's done. Where there's, especially at this level, there's a lot of thought and a lot of custom parts that have to be made in order to make all this stuff work together. And when you build it, you want it to be usable. And when I say that, I mean you want it to be user friendly. You want to be able to work on the car. You want to be able to remove stuff without having to, you know, jump through all these hoops just in order to do something. So real quick, this is what I got. I have a call today with the guys over at Aviate because I am struggling to find a proper mounting solution because of the way the double frame rail is, but it's part of it. So I guess I'll start off with the oil pan. I got my price on there, $5.75, really good price. Mickey out at Williams Fab, he hooks me up. We've run his oil pans on, I got one for Hank, the Black Sheep had one, what else? The Red Lobster had one. He does custom aluminum oil pans, valve covers. My big block, I had a badass big block that had a Williams Fab oil pan. They're badass. I pretty much called him up. I was sitting next to the car, I was on the phone. I said, hey, the car already has belly pans. The pan that I have, which was similar to like an F-body pan, external wet sump pan, so it doesn't have, it has a built-in windage tray, but it doesn't have a pickup tube inside of it for the oil pump. It's got a port, a -12 fitting that you then run to your external oil pump. I said, hey, this is what I need. I need a 3 1/4 inch front sump, 5 inch rear sump. The rear sump needs to be 9 inches in length. He said not a problem. Driver side drain, passenger side pump pickup. Pretty simple. So if you guys don't know what that is, I guess you could just draw it out, but just go back and repeat. Other than that, we got the oil pan stuff figured out. That'll work with the belly pan. That'll give us good oil volume. If we got to overfill it a little bit, we'll overfill it a little bit. Try not to do that, but that happens every once in a while. So then we move to our oil pump right here. I got an Aviate oil pump. That's the oil pump that I have on the Bad Apple. It's the oil pump that we had when we did the revision to the Red Lobster. It's the oil pump that we had on the Black Sheep. It's an external single stage wet sump oil pump. They're very nice. They work really good. They have a ton of different mounting options. This one here, I actually struggling with this part here. They have some mounting options where you can mount to the motor plate, which I like doing that. It gives you a lot of options if you have room, but the double frame rail is so low and so narrow on this car that I have to trim the motor plate out, and I don't have anywhere on the motor plate to hang it. So they do have an LS style mounting bracket where it actually mount to the block, which that is great. But I am running into a couple issues. So this is like what I got here. That's the part number single stage right side kit with fuel pump drive, because I like to keep it simple. I want to run one HTD belt to spin our oil pump, and then have our fuel pump hook up to the back of the oil pump, so we only have one belt. Keeps it simple. That way, in my mind, if your belt comes off, your oil pump stops, which you're going to kill your motor, but your fuel pump stops also, and that would probably shut the car off quick. So the issue that we have is I have a tube, right? This is connecting the lower frame rail to the upper frame rail. It's got 10-inch offset of the crankshaft center line on the passenger side, which is where we're trying to put the pump, and the tube is 2 1/4 or 2.5 inches forward from the face of the block. So I'll go out there and show you in a second. It's pretty tough because that's right where either the pump or the pulley would be. So you can run your pulley off of, on the LS stuff, you can run it off the back of the balancer. ATI has a hub that's got 25 tooth hub, so that's what we ran on the Black Sheep. Am I a fan of it? I don't know. You don't have any adjustability with it. You put the balancer on, and that's where the belt alignment is, and you have no option. If you run a mandrel off the front, the mandrels are adjustable, and you can slide them and space stuff out, so you have some adjustability with that. The pump has a drive shaft with a keyway in it, and you can put your pulley on that and move your pulley back and forth. But when you're going off of the ATI balancer pulley, you have no option. The pulley's not moving, or the balancer's not moving, so you're just going right there. So we're running into an issue where the pump would be behind that vertical bar connecting the frame rails together, but the pulley location, based off of where the crankshaft, the end of the crankshaft is and where the balancer would be, is right in line with that tube. So that kind of acts as that idea. So I sent an email to the guys. I'll read you the email that I sent to the guys over at AVA. They're from Australia. Talking to the people there, super great company, just all around good people. I have a potential issue with the chassis bar. I have a vertical bar, 10-inch offset of passenger side of the crankshaft center line, and 2 1/4 inches forward of the face of the block. Looking to see if there's a mounting solution to put the pump behind the bar, have the drive shaft of the pump run alongside of the bar, and the pulley on the other side of the bar, utilizing a mandrel off the front of the balancer, because I know that if we run a pulley off the back of the balancer, I have no adjustability. So I'm waiting to hear back if we have a mounting solution to kind of scoot the pump up close to the bar, have the drive shaft go past the bar. But there are some questions like, where does that drive shaft for the pump lie in relation to the vertical bar? Is it right in line with it, or is it offset? If it's offset, we might get away with it. I know that's a lot of stuff going on, but this is just the thought that goes into it. And then fuel pump wise, fuel pumps that will work with their setup, there's a couple other ones, but these are the ones that I've run before. The Enderley 990, it's a billet pump, it's like 17 gallon a minute, it's a pretty good pump. Or the little Bertha Nostalgia, it's about twice the price, but a little bit more badass of a pump. It's a dual spur gear pump. So we're going to see what pump options we can run if we can get this oil pump to fit. So let's go out there, let's take a look at it, and I'll explain to you guys more. Alright, so here we are. LS in Beetle Juice. And as you can see, it fits in there nice. Like when you're looking at it, you're like, damn, that thing looks nice. You got a bunch of room over here, bunch of room up here for activities. Yes, that is very true, but you don't have a bunch of room over here and over here for activities. And this is the bar that's really causing us problems. And I know, listen, guys, I know what you guys are saying. Oh, we'll just cut the bar and move it. Dude, the whole the car's already wired. Okay, so we're trying not to mess with too much of the wiring. The chassis is powder coated, and everything's all done. And there's really no good place to move this bar, because if you move it forward, it starts laying over. So before everyone just goes and says some absolutely off-the-wall shit, just know that we're not moving the bar. We just have to figure out a mounting solution for it. So the Aviade oil pump LS system bolts up pretty much here and here. Now, how far out it sits, we're good with, right? If it sits out here, as long as the drive shaft of the oil pump doesn't intersect this bar. If it does, it just wasn't meant to be. And we're going to take this thing out and put a Hemi in it, maybe. I don't know. I hope not, because it's a really nice motor plate from Quartermax that I cut up. And as you can see, I've been drawing on it to how I'm going to trim it up the rest of the way. But, yeah, ideally, this is what we'll have, is we will have the oil pump come out here. The drive shaft would come, it could be close to this because it's not going to move. It's going to be solid mounted to the block. We'll come out to here and then run off the front of the balancer. So your pulley will be over here, out of the way of everything. The issue we have now is if we run the pulley off the back of the ATI balancer, the pulley would sit right where this bar is. It's literally like smack in the middle of it. Now, there are some benefits if we do run it off the mandrel. If we run it off the mandrel, we can run a Gilmer style, which would be a smaller. You normally run them 2 to 1. So you run your oil pump half speed of your engine RPM. So if you're turning 8,000 or 8,200 RPM, you don't really want your oil pump or fuel pump to spin over 4,000 RPMs. This is stuff that, I don't know, you got to do some research, but this is what I've been taught. Don't want your fuel pump, oil pump going over 4,000 RPM. So if you're spinning your stuff 8,000 RPMs, you want to go 2 to 1. If you're going 85, which like we normally shift like a motor like this would be like 82 to 84. So we're a little bit less than half speed. So you got to keep that in mind. But your pulley size obviously dictates. If you have a 10-tooth pulley on the crank, you only have to have a 20-tooth. Over here, that ATI balancer had a 25-tooth, so I think we were going to run like a 44-tooth on the pulley to get it to half speed. But that is pretty much what I've been dealing with my half day yesterday. We got the belly pan on there. This is the oil pan. This is a Williams Fab oil pan. Very nice. As you can see, this one here is pretty much what we need, but just not exactly what we need. This one's got a 2 1/4 inch sump here, and then it's got like a 7-inch sump there. It's like based off of an F-body style pan. And then there's your pickup for your external pump. You put a Peterson 90-degree oil filter. They have one like a pre-pump oil filter right here, and then you would it would go -12 line up to your oil pump, from oil pump to oil filter back into the block. So yeah, that's pretty much what we got going on. Other than that, I mean, things seem to be going just great. We got the motor in there. It sits good. It's in a good spot. It's nice and low. Everything that you would like. And yeah, I got the transmission and the turbos there. Once I get everything kind of mocked up, I mean, I plan to put the oil filter and fuel filter on the motor plate, have everything compact to the motor, and then we're going to run up and forward headers and put our turbos here. So I think we have a pretty good layout right now. It's just, you could have one thing interrupt the whole outcome of this, and that is not good. So we got to keep our fingers crossed everything works together. And I'll be on the phone today making some calls and getting some stuff figured out, and hopefully we can get BEETLE Juice rock and roll. We're pretty much done with the motor. I'll do a whole video going over that because it's badass. I just got to order some Manton push rods. We made an audible. We got rid of our Ohio crankshaft, and we put a Manley billet center counterweighted crank in there, which is absolutely bad to the bone. So we have a lot to talk about on that, but that's an upcoming video. So just trying to stay busy here. It's Wednesday morning. It's Mustang week. I don't know if I'll be attending Mustang week, but I will be working on this thing. So, all right, well, that's going to wrap it up. Just wanted to give you guys an informational video of what we got going on. I'm trying to get back to doing daily uploads, but I'm struggling. I'm trying to get back into it. I love it. I love making the videos, but man, I'd be busy. So check me out tomorrow. Go click subscribe so you're notified when I upload another video. And we got some bangers coming out soon. We're supposed to go testing with Slick Rick very shortly. And I think, should I do a video? Comment down below if you want a video on bar angles and making bar changes, because that's what we've been doing a lot of lately. And it's pretty cool to see how it reacts with the car. But yep, that's going to wrap it up. Have a great Monday. We'll see you guys in tomorrow's upload.